Let us prepare ourselves in body, in mind, and in spirit for our service this morning. When you are in doubt, be still and wait. When doubt no longer exists for you, then go forward with courage. So long as mists envelop you, be still. Be still until the sunlight pours through and dispels the mists, as it surely will. Then act with courage. And let's take these words from Chief White Eagle into our hearts and minds and contemplate them for a moment. And as we turn to that silent place within us, that place of spirit, where we know that all is God, we each recognize our individual mists, the places where we're called to have courage. And as we recognize this, we absolutely know that we are equal to all the challenges, to all the mists. We are equal to it because we are that place where spirit acts, where spirit reveals. We are that as a community. And we come together sharing that sense of oneness and allness that is our truth. And how grateful I am. How grateful I am to know that this is truth. And how grateful we can all be to share this with each other. And so I simply say, thank you, God. And so it is. So it is.
So we have this book that we're following all year called Joyous Living Journal, and this month we're talking about living a relaxed life, which is, you know, it's hard to be joyful when you're uptight all the time. Sometimes we have to just relax, right? And we talked first about our outer lives and what it means to sort of give yourself that time to rest and to recreate or recreate and to stop that wild ride and just give yourself some time. And then we talked about what it means in the inner life, spiritual practices like silence and meditation and the things that kind of clean the gunk out of the pipes, the spiritual pipes, so to speak, so that life flows more freely. But even with all of that, there are places where we just get stuck. There are places where we're blocked and that free and full flow of life isn't happening. And the reading this morning talks about waiting for the mists to clear. Chief White Eagle says, "Be still until the sunlight pours through and dispels the mists, as it surely will." There's a verse of the Tao Te Ching that's really similar. It says, "Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles?" I love that. Do you have the patience to wait until your mud settles? Can you remain unmoving until the right action reveals itself? Which is, one of the things that we come here to remind ourselves of, that we have this inner wisdom, that if we'll just sit still and let the mud settle, often we can see our way through to whatever it is that we need to do. I mean, my job is to remind you of that, of who you really truly are. And yet, there are still places we get stuck. And the place that I'm thinking about today, and that the rest of today's reading is about, is our secrets. Those things that you did that you don't want anybody to know about, or those things that you hide about yourself deep in your own psyche and you really hope nobody finds out about, and those things that maybe, actions that maybe you took that you're really not proud of, the things we never want anybody else to know. You know the ones I mean? I think we all have them at some point. And we need something powerful, something sacramental to help us get off dead center with those things, to help us unblock them. And I chose the word sacramental on purpose. The word sacrament comes from the Latin meaning to devote. And so the sacramental rituals I'm talking about are devoted to clearing us of that need to keep secrets and of the dark energy that keeping a secret brings to us. You know how it makes you feel in the pit of your stomach when you have a secret? And it takes an enormous amount of our own energy to keep it hidden. I want to read the rest of the reading to you today because it'll explain the weird title of this talk. There is a Native American shamanic practice that has been referred to as the eater of impurities. This is when one of the spiritual elders sits with an individual and has him bring to mind something he wishes no one to know about, something that has been parasitically alive within the darkness of his awareness. This action or concern would be eating away on his inner world, making it difficult to be fully present in the physical world. The spiritual elder would instruct the tormented one to bring his fear into view. When the shaman could sense the rising real fear of the consuming darkness, he would then tell the person to give it to him. The darkness was brought into the light and absorbed. It seems like every spiritual tradition I looked at had something similar. In the Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church, it's confession. In the Quaker tradition, it's a clearness committee. There's this shamanic ritual. There's in Celtic spirituality, there's the anamkara, or the soul friend, to whom you can tell your secrets, trusting and knowing that they will love you anyway, no matter what you tell them. In Alcoholics Anonymous and other 12-step programs, it's called a 5th step. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And that's why the Native American ritual is called the eater of impurities. The shaman takes that on for you. It's an impurity that keeps us stuck and that keeps us wasting energy keeping it secret. I think we all need someone to help us see and speak and clear those blocks away, because they keep us from living with an open heart, a free, full, open heart, and living a free, full, expansive life that we're here to lead. And if you're like me, there's a little voice in your head that says, wait a minute, didn't you just say it's what I don't want anyone else to know, and you're saying I should tell it to somebody? You're crazy, lady. I know that's what I thought the first time I heard that I had to do that, after I took a fearless and thorough moral inventory of myself. But every one of these sacramental rituals involves opening ourselves up to another person, whether it's our priest or our shaman or our sponsor or our soul friend, or in the Quaker tradition, a circle of people who are there to ask you questions about your secret until you've got it all the way out and out of your life. We don't want to do that. We're still carrying it around as a secret, right? We don't want to tell anybody about it. We don't want anybody else to know about this stuff, whether it's our lying or our treachery or our double-crossing or, our stealing or whatever it is that we once upon a time did, that we're afraid we're going to get judged for if we tell anybody about it. Maybe it's just, lust in our hearts or our judgment or a prejudice or a bias or all those hidden things that we've really never just said, yeah, I own it. I own this, and I don't want it to own me anymore. That's the whole point, is that when we get it up and out, it doesn't own us anymore. So as I was thinking about this Native American ritual and these other sacramental traditions of letting go of our secrets, one thing came into my mind, and that was that we may be terrified of spilling our secrets, but the person that we're spilling them to has their own set of secrets. Hopefully they've unburdened themselves to their priest or their shaman or their soul friend, but they have or have had secrets of their own, because we all do. There's something that happened to us at some point that somebody shamed us over, and that's a secret, There's something in our lives that we did somewhere, even if it's, and I've spilled a whole lot of my secrets to you all, so, even if it's saying, I hate you, to my mother, I for a long time that was a secret part of me. And everybody has them. So the person that you are speaking to has their own set of secrets. And in AA, it's a very simple thing in a 12-step program. We tell a newcomer to find somebody who's just a little bit farther down the path than they are. Just a little bit farther ahead, who's maybe gotten rid of a secret or two and loosened up the ground so that it can become fertile instead of dry and hard and packed and dark. The other thing is that every one of those people is a keeper of confidentiality. Did you notice? The priest and the minister and the practitioner, we even have legal evidentiary, what do you call them? We have privileges to keep people's secrets secret. The Anamkara, the soul friend, is somebody that you already know will love you no matter what, and will not judge you, and will not divulge your secrets outside of the discussion that you have. Religious people have an onus of confidentiality as part of their job, whether it's a shaman or a priest or a rabbi or whomever, which is another reason that this sacramental idea comes in. It's a safe place. It's a safe place to say, I did something and it's been bothering me ever since, and I'd like to get it off my chest. I'd like to talk about it. I'd like to speak about it. I'd like to say I have a secret and I don't want to keep it anymore. So we set every spiritual tradition sets up this environment of confidentiality and safety so that we can get rid of our secrets, so that we just don't have to keep them anymore. When I used to sponsor a whole lot of people, before I became a minister, it was funny that many of them would, 2 or 3 weeks after they said, would you be my sponsor? And I said, yes. They'd call me up and they'd say, I have something I really need to talk to you about. I'd say, okay. So we'd get together and they would haul up their biggest, deepest, darkest secret, because they figured if they told me, I'd fire them, right? I'd say, I'm not going to be your sponsor anymore. What happened in virtually every single situation was, I'd say, gee, I did that too. No judgment, just, gee, I did that too. And I'm sorry it's been claiming so much of your current life. And then we could get on with things. Then we could get on with the real business of becoming healthy. Because every one of those secrets we keeps us stuck. It keeps us in the dark. It keeps us tethered to the past, and it allows the past to take up an awfully lot of today, which is one of the payoffs of getting rid of it, right? We get to reclaim our present and our future. So here's this idea of this eater of impurities, this purging of our own souls, and then there's this caution to be still and wait, and to move forward with courage when you're clear, to wait until your mud settles and wait for the right action. So I'm going to spill another one of my secrets about my own fifth step when I was, let's say, 26 years or 27 years ago now. I did it all wrong. So I'm going to use it as a teaching moment. I think I wrote about 100 pages of fearless and searching moral inventory, like when I was 6 months old. I started back then. And I wrote everything I could possibly think of in my whole life. And my poor sponsor had to sit there for 2.5 days listening to me. I could see her going, I better get another cup of coffee. It was awful. I mean, the woman is a saint. She is. And I didn't get to the important part. I didn't get to the spilling of my real secrets until the very end. We could have had a 15-minute meeting, and I could have gotten to the important part and made the progress that I needed to make. But I didn't wait for my own mud to settle. I didn't wait to see what was really still eating at my soul, or what I already knew I had to do to deal with, So this poor woman, she had to sit and listen, and it was amazing. And what happened as a result is the payoff of doing these kinds of sacramental practices. I was free. I was free of those old secrets, and I have taken advantage of the opportunity in various settings since then when another one comes up from the depths to say, I don't want this. This takes me out of life. This holds me back and makes me feel dark. I'm going to get rid of it right now. I'm going to find someone I can trust and tell them my secret. When we tell somebody, it's like we tell somebody whose heart is open, our own heart just swings wide open. When we tell somebody whose heart is open, it's like a huge burden's been lifted off our shoulders and we can move again. It's an amazing payoff. We've stopped letting yesterday claim today. There's another payoff. We find ourselves free of that darkness, and available to us is all the energy that we were using to keep that secret a secret. It's like rocket fuel. It's amazing because you can now use that energy to build the life you want to live instead of being tethered to the mistake that you made. The final payoff, I have a story about this that I want to tell you. Yesterday, one of my colleagues sent a link out to a little short 5-minute video. I looked for it on YouTube, but I couldn't find it. It's called Admissions. And it's a video that takes place in this white room. There's a guy in a white suit sitting behind a white desk, and all of a sudden a door in the wall opens and this Jewish couple spills out. And they say, where are we? And the man behind the desk says, admissions, please have a seat. So they sit there wondering what is going on. Pretty soon the door in the wall opens again, and a young Palestinian man tumbles into the room, and he says, where's Allah and where am I? And the man says, you're at admissions, please have a seat. And then this timer on the wall starts to run. The whole point is that this is the admissions process for the afterlife. And they have 20 minutes to realize what it is that they've got to do before they can move forward into the afterlife. And what happened was the Palestinian was a suicide bomber, and the Jewish couple died in a restaurant where he walked into and blew it up. Everybody who dies together arrives at admissions at the same time. The whole point of the little movie was that the one thing that you have to do before you can go on is forgive. Forgive and open your heart to other souls, no matter what your mistakes, no matter what their mistakes. So at the end of the 20 minutes, the timer is set at 0, and he says, okay, the first one of you step up to the line. And it's the woman. The woman is the one who convinced the two guys that they needed to forgive. So she steps up, and the elevator marked heaven opens, and she steps into it. Next, her husband steps up and he turns to the Palestinian and they acknowledge a forgiveness for each other. And then the elevator to heaven opens up. There's another elevator marked hell, of course. And the Palestinian steps up and waits and waits and waits. And all of a sudden the door to heaven opens up and he says, I get to go to heaven too? Even though I had all this hatred in my heart? And the guy behind the desk says, yes, you do. Palestinian says, who goes to the other place? And the guy says, no one, it's just a prop. Then he tells the man, the important thing is that you learned what you needed to learn to move into heaven. You were created in love, you are returning to love. The payoff of letting go of these secrets is we realize that there was nothing that needed to be forgiven anyway. Ultimately, God has already forgiven us, whatever you call that energy. The universe has already forgiven us. Probably the people we wronged have already forgiven us. There's another step in AA where you have to go and tell the people that you kind of screwed over, pardon my language, that you did that. And every single one of them had already forgotten and forgiven. And I was carrying all this stuff around about how hurtful I had been to them. And they just said, you know, I knew you were having a rough patch in your life. It's no big deal. And life is sort of like that. When we forgive ourselves and get rid of that secret, whew, wow. Talk about forgiveness. We get it for ourselves. So there's a big payoff to taking this brave, courageous action of selecting someone in a trustful, safe situation to spill our secrets to get them off of our souls. Because then we move into the light. That light has dispelled all the mists, and we're standing there with the energy that comes with freedom. We can step into that full and free and flowing, expansive life we were meant to lead with free, full, flowing hearts. And the price of admission is just to let go of our secrets and to remember that they were never true, that they were never real, that they were never you anyway. And so right now I would appreciate your joining me in consciousness for a moment as we let our awareness move into stillness, into spaciousness, into emptiness, if that's what you call it, into infinity. As we swing out into infinity, as Ernest Holmes would say, remembering that there is only one of us, that there is only this one life in which we all partake and share, and that no matter what the world looks like, that's the truth. There's only one of us. So that those we hold grudges against or resentments against, we realize are part of us. And for those that we are sure hold resentments against us, they are part of us too, and we are part of them. Because there is only one life. There is only one mind. There is only one love that powers everything in the universe. And as we allow that love to move into our hearts and minds and being, as we give up the things that hold us back from that, we find freedom. We find forgiveness. We find power and light. And we move forward into a greater state of acceptance and love, a greater state of evolution, so that the light that we generate in our own lives joins with the light of the person next to us, and the person next to them, and the person next to them, and reaches everywhere. As we hold in our hearts this love, this unconditionality, this already forgivenness, it touches even Ferguson and Chicago and New York City and all of those other places where there seems to be such separation and such otherness and such despair. We can even lift up those places with the light in our hearts when we have said to the universe, to Spirit, to God, I am here, I am present, I am letting go of anything that blocks my awareness and my ability to live in the flow of divine life. And so I simply speak a word of blessing on all of those places, on all of those who were rocked by this morning's earthquake in California, by all who are in fear or in doubt or in despair or in sadness or in hatred. Speak a word of blessing on all of them, that they may also have their hearts blown wide open to love. And I give thanks. I give thanks for this time of sharing this morning. I give thanks for this wonderful place we come together and the wonderful music that comes up here, for each person who is here shining their light so brilliantly. I give thanks and I let it be, knowing it's already done. And we say together, and so it is. There's nothing else to do, right? So now let's just take a moment to fall into gratitude. To fall into gratitude for all of the blessings in our lives. For all that we have, for all that we give, for all that we are, for all that we get to do. It is this attitude of gratitude that blesses what we already have and makes more welcome. And when we give from this attitude of gratitude, we bless our whole lives. And so as you gratefully give, please bless the basket as it goes by. Bless the abundance of this whole community. And let's affirm together. Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
I know that as I give, so do I receive.
I know that as I give, so do I receive.
And so it is.
And so it is.
I go away for a week and I'm just lost. That was awesome. That was a hair blow your hair back kind of song. I love it. Thank you. Woo! Let's see. Kelly has an announcement. If she wants to come up and make that now, that would be great.
Go, Kelly. Woo! Go, Kelly.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Kelly.
I'm Kelly from the Social Committee. I just want to invite you to our canoe outing and picnic that we're having this coming Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. We did it in June, and people demanded that we have another one. So hopefully we'll have good weather. It's going to be at Bellbrook Canoe Rental. The address is in your bulletin. We got a special deal of $10 a person, and that's based on 2 or 3 people per canoe. I think they have kayaks too if you want to rather get that. If you want a canoe, show up there at 9:30. If there's the center's Facebook page has an event, so if you want to RSVP through that, then if for some reason we have to cancel it because of rain, we'll cancel it there. If you don't have Facebook, if you put your contact information on the sign-up sheet in the bulletin board, then we'll call you if we have to cancel it. And the rain date is the next Saturday, so we'll just switch it to the following Saturday, September 6th. But if you don't canoe, you could still come for the picnic. We're having a picnic at the same place. We have a nice shelter right on the river. We have just bring a dish to share. And so even if you don't canoe, just come for the picnic. It'll be a lot of fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Hit it, Kenny. Thank you.
1, 2, 3.
You are beautiful, courageous, and wise beyond your ages. This I know for you, as I know myself. You are splendid, you're unique, with the whole world at your feet. This I know for you, as I know myself. You are brother to the flower, a sister to the tree. This I know for you, as I know myself. As all life lives within you, you are one with God, it's true. This I know for you, as I know myself. This I know for you, as I know myself. This I know for you, as I know myself.
Today is the 4th Sunday of the month, and so we got to play today. Now, before people go away, come here. This is Aunt Ray Ray. All right? She's aunt to Kimley here. Isn't that wonderful? Awesome. So everyone say, "Hi, Aunt Ray Ray."
Did they wear you out, Ann? Did you play and play and play?
Yes.
Good. Ann is the leader of play because she's a playful kind of lady. Okay, a couple of other quick announcements. There are still 3 spots available for the Mystics Retreat in November. $50 deposit will reserve your spot. We're going to have to cut that off pretty soon because we got to let them know who's coming. But we hope you'll join us. It's going to be amazing. And fall classes start in really soon. Can you believe that the summer is winding to an end? Wow. September 8th, Self-Mastery begins. September 10th, Prosperity Plus 2, Harnessing Your Invisible Power. September 14th, Sunday afternoon, a free class called The 5 Pillars of Spirituality. And on September 27th, which is a Saturday, we'll have a new members class. Sign-up sheets are all on the bulletin boards, which have been a little bit rearranged. Events are on the left side as you go down the hall, and classes are on the right if you want to check those out. And please sign up also for our annual Centers for Spiritual Living World Day of Service on the 13th. We're going to help Hope Road's Grow to Live youth gardening program get their garden in shape. So please sign up for that. It'll be a fun day. There's a whole bunch more stuff happening. You can check the back of your the back page of your bulletin that says mark your calendars, I think. Yes, because there's a whole page of things that are coming up. Lots of wonderful, wonderful happenings. And finally, if you would like prayer for anything after the service, or you want to make arrangements to tell your secret to someone who will hold it in absolute confidence, check with one of the beautiful ladies with the shawls on, the teal or white shawls. They are licensed prayer practitioners, and they can know the truth for you when it's difficult to see it for yourself. And they are also wonderful, wonderful spiritual counselors, shamans, wise people to share secrets with. So thank you all for being here, all you practitioners. I really appreciate it. So let's stand for our closing affirmation and our closing song, I Release and I Let Go. There is a song of the universe and I sing it.
There is a song of the universe and I sing it.
There is a hymn of praise and I praise it.
There is a hymn of praise and I praise it.
There is a life of joy and I live it.
There is a life of joy and I live it.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Have a fabulous week.